It's Miss Sayer here in the lab, and on this episode of Explore Biomedical Science, we're talking all about epidemiology. Okay, folks, let's talk about coronavirus, or the reason why you all are watching this on YouTube instead of here in the classroom. Coronavirus is also known as novel COVID-19, and it's called novel, which means new, because it's a new virus that humans haven't had to fight off before, and that's why it's so dangerous. A lot of things like the flu, colds, other kinds of illnesses your body and our community have seen before, and so it's a lot less dangerous. One reason why it's so dangerous for people like the elderly or people who are immunocompromised, meaning that they have a condition where their immune system's not going to work very well, is because it can cause pneumonia. So this respiratory illness can lead to your lungs becoming infected, which is a really common cause of death. As you know now, epidemiologists are people who track the transmission of disease outbreaks. And so the epidemiologists around the world are still working really hard to figure out what caused this disease and how it spread exactly, because that's going to give us a ton of information about how to prevent it from spreading more in the future. So far, the best information is that this virus appears to have originated in the Wuhan region of China, and it's zoonotic, which means that it originated from a non-human animal. To help you learn more about the way the coronavirus works, I created a 3D origami version so we can go over its structures. We've been learning a lot about bacteria cells lately, which are alive, but viruses are different. They're not alive, and they require a host or another organism in order to make copies of themselves. The way that the virus uses the host to make copies of itself is by binding to a receptor on the host cell's surface with these spike proteins. These spike proteins are designed to fit into the receptors in different kinds of cells, almost like a lockpicker would be able to use a lockpicking set to break open lots of different kinds of doors. Just like you, me, and bacteria, viruses have a genome, which is the code for how it should be built. Once the virus has attached onto the host cell with these spike proteins, its genome will be inserted into the host cell where it can be read by the ribosomes. That means that the new host cell is going to be making copies of this virus instead of making copies of the proteins and organelles that it should be making. Think of it as the virus hijacking the host cells and forcing it to make copies of itself instead of doing the job that it was designed to do. Other parts of the virus cell allow it to function. Replicase allows the genome to be transcribed to make new genome copies. Protease helps the virus create some essential proteins. Membrane protein, or M protein, helps the virus create the right shape for its membrane. Hemagglutinin esterase, or HE for short, helps the spike proteins to bind to the host cells. The viral envelope is what surrounds it, just like your cell membranes, and it's also made out of phospholipids. Let's talk about antibiotics for a moment. A lot of people are hopeful that if they happen to catch coronavirus, they could go to the doctor and get some antibiotics to treat it. These are some really powerful medications, but unfortunately, they're only designed to treat bacteria and not viruses. Even though this looks like a cell and maybe even has some things in common with bacteria, they're super different because viruses are not alive. In order to be treated with antibiotics, the cell has to be living. So what do you do if you get a virus? Normally, if you get a virus, a doctor is going to prescribe you a treatment plan that's going to keep you as comfortable as possible as the virus runs its course in your body. If you're young and healthy, this is usually not very dangerous because most viruses have been seen by our community and some of them even by our own bodies before. There's no two ways about it, though. Viruses are really hard to treat, and as a scientific community, the best thing we can do is prevent it. Right now, all around the world, scientists are working together to create a vaccine. There are different kinds of vaccines and they're developed in different ways, but no matter what, they take a long time to develop. You might have seen this in the news lately. People are hoping that there's going to be a vaccine super soon to help us deal with coronavirus, and some scientists are pushing back and saying it is going to be a little while before they're going to be developed and safe enough to use. If you're ready to start exploring some epidemiology on your own now, you can do the Biomedical Challenge. Click on the doc in Google Classroom and follow the prompts. Completing biomedical challenges can help bring up your grade in the 21st century standards, and it can help you think critically about the science that's happening in the world right now.